I'm Lauren, and this is building a marketing strategy for hackathons. So yeah, a couple things. I am super caffeinated and super sleep deprived, so I'm just going to read off this. Also, as you'll notice, I don't know if you can tell, but I have a massive bruise on me. I was an idiot and went cliff diving the other day, so I'm not diving. It's just that's what that is. I don't know if you can see it, but it's not great. Anyways, moving on. So. I am the outgoing marketing director for NW+, which is the club behind NW Hacks, which is Western Canada's largest hackathon, UBC Local Hack Day, which is the largest local hack day in North America, and Command F, which is Vancouver's first all-female hackathon. So we are from the University of British Columbia, which is in Vancouver, Canada. We just finished our 5th year of hackathons, so going into our 6th year. So, like I said, there are 3 hackathons. All fall under the NW+ umbrella. Yeah, so a little bit about me. I'm finishing up my Bachelor of Arts as a mathematics major. I did my first 3 years in marketing, switched over, so now I'm actually doing the major in arts. So half my degree is like communications, pop culture studies, the other half is math. So I've been involved with NW+ for 4 years. Essentially how I got involved was I got some random message from this guy just being like, we hear you do marketing, can you please help us out? Our event's in 2 weeks. I had absolutely no idea what a hackathon was, just kind of jumped into it. Here we are 4 years later. So yeah, was not tech when I started this. Still not really tech, but I'm learning. So yeah, I've done brand awareness and marketing strategies for companies like those ones. I'm mostly working in early stage startups and nonprofits. So doing a lot of kind of discovery, being like we have this small company with an idea, how do we use social media to kind of get it out there, get the word across, show everyone what we're doing. Yeah, all right. So what are we going to do today? So essentially, I'm just going to kind of give you kind of idea of what so like I said, I've been with NW+ for 4 years. This is the first year that we did kind of a full, complete, consistent, well thought out strategy. So I'm going to kind of walk you through our year with that, what worked for us, what didn't, kind of what we decided to focus on, and kind of where we were getting the most results for our goals. So I'm going to do it step by step, and kind of tell you what we did for it, and then I'll kind of give you some more information. At the end of it, we're going to come around and do like a kind of a Q&A discussion. I'd like to hear kind of what your answers to the steps are, any other questions you have, things like that. I'm gonna honestly, there's a lot of information. I'm just gonna kind of power through. I'll send you guys slides and stuff, but most of this stuff up here is just kind of ideas that we had that we want to share with you that you guys can bring back to your hackathons and kind of grow on and start your plan. Also, let me know if I'm talking really fast because I do that. So yeah, quick start. What does the marketing team do? We are pretty lucky. We have a 5-person marketing team. I know not a lot of you guys have that, but this is kind of a complete task list for our year. So yeah, the basic things without getting too much into it, but that's kind of how we segment our marketing strategy into 6 areas. So yeah, so real quick, why is marketing so important for hackathons? I know the answers are up there. Does anyone want to kind of take a stab of why marketing is so important? And then other than those ones, yeah. Go for it.
Or me?
Yeah. Oh, no, you.
Yeah, because marketing brings in hackers and you can't have a hackathon without hackers.
This is very true, yeah. Anyone else? Is there a reason up there that I didn't mention at all? We'll go into it. Okay, yeah, essentially the first one, more applications. More mentors, more volunteers, pretty much like everything you'd expect to get out of a marketing hackathon, for marketing a hackathon. Yeah, the second one is to kind of attract your target hacker. So we kind of used our social media strategy this year to make it very clear what kind of hackers our events welcomed. So whether your event is beginner friendly, specifically for more advanced hackers, hackers in a certain field, maybe you're trying to branch out into other faculties, this is a great way to kind of show potential hackers that you are welcoming of that. This also, yeah, this helps a lot if you're trying to incorporate a new kind of hacker. So I'll give you, so for example, so our goal last year was to introduce more beginners to the world of hackathons. Our NW Hacks, which was the one that we've been doing for years, is a more advanced hackathon. So we actually brought in Local Hack Day, which is beginner friendly, and Command F, which is an all-female hackathon. So we brought those under the NW Plus umbrella, and we use our social media to share their first-time hacker experiences. So we did a lot of stuff, like we did Medium articles with a lot of beginner hackers to see like where they've come from their first hackathon to where they are now. We've done a lot of hacker testimonials, so sharing things like, we had hackers come forward and be like, I was so scared to do this for years. I'm so glad I finally did this. This is what I learned. This is why I'm so glad I did it. This is my obstacle. This is how I overcame it. What else yeah, and also too, we use a lot of our events are pretty diverse in terms of gender, faculty, things like that. We use a lot of content that incorporate all that diversity. So yeah. So these minority groups are always going to be your biggest pool of potential hackers because they're already sold. Most of them are already sold on the idea. There's just something stopping them. Where your typical hacker is sold on the idea, it's just kind of like deciding whether or not they want to go. So it's really important to tap into them, see how you can reach them, get them to your event. Yeah. Okay. So sponsorship doesn't normally go under the marketing umbrella, but I'll talk about that bit. So kind of one thing that sticks in my mind from years ago. I had gone to the event just for day of stuff, and I went and introduced myself to our title sponsor. And I was like, hi, I'm doing social media for the day. The first thing they said to me was, you have no online presence. They're like, we haven't seen you post in 2 years. We agreed to give you all this money. We start Googling you. There's nothing. And they're like, it doesn't look great for you. It's like that. So that totally makes sense. And they were saying, like, if you're promising that you're doing this 1,000+ event with all these big mentors, sponsors, and there's no trace of that online, you're going to have to back it up another way. So we thought about that, and we're like, you know what? We're right. We have so much going on. We need to be documenting that and showing people that that is actually happening and the magnitude of our event. So this is actually our main reason for implementing a full marketing strategy last year. By getting our online presence to where we wanted it, we could kind of create a really quick snapshot and send it over to sponsors and just be like, hey, so like I said, we have 800 hackers. Here's what an event looks like day to day. Like, we're saying that you can like speak at one of our workshops with all these people, all these students in front of you. Well, here's proof. This is what our workshops look like. This is what's going on in terms of other events. Like, this is what this is what our title sponsor booth would look like. We're giving them the validation that they want. We also went into things just like, another thing we really focused on this year was vanity metrics. So it's like for social media, like getting likes on our photo. I know it's a dumb thing, but it's like if a sponsor pulls up your page and you have like 1,000 followers versus 30, they're going to put more trust in you. So that's kind of something we really focused on this year, is creating that strong online presence to prove that the cool stuff that we were doing was being shown to the world. Can everyone still hear me okay? Amazing. Okay. And last one, like I said, show everyone how fun your event is. They're so much fun. So show everyone about it. Show what's going on. Show what's making it unique, things like that. It's a lot of fun. So like I said, those were kind of the 4 reasons why I felt that marketing was important for hackathons. This is actually some of the stats that we've experienced in the past year. So like, for instance, like our highest application increase this year was 52%. For one of our events, we completely doubled our application numbers. Things like I said, we really focused on getting beginner hackers to our events. We had a target of 20% beginner hackers. One of our events had 40%. What else? Attendance rate, which is something we struggled with in the past. We went from 75, so that's the amount of people that actually show up compared to RSVP. We're now at 84% for our events. Definitely making it in terms of like logistics, budget, everything just so much more efficient. Quick social media stats. Another thing we really tried to do is like Medium articles. I'll talk about it a little bit more, but we actually added like a social media sponsorship tier. So just being like, if you sponsor a certain amount, we'll incorporate you onto our social media platform. So again, how our stats went up because of that. We had fun. I didn't have a stat for that. But yeah, so just kind of how social media, how our consistent strategy helped us in the areas we wanted to this year. So really quickly, okay, so how to build a marketing strategy for your hackathon. So like I said, there's, hold on. Okay, so there are 4 steps kind of that when we were planning our strategy, these are the 4 things we thought about, and this was kind of the start of our plan, and then we just grew from there. So kind of think about these, and then at the end I'll kind of come back, and if you guys want to like share what kind of, discuss what you guys are going to do for that, if you have some ideas we can talk about it. But the first one essentially is, why do people go to your hackathon? Obviously you can tell there's hackathons going on everywhere. So why do people go to yours specifically? So when you're designing a marketing strategy, I want you to think of one thing. What is the main reason people go? What's going to sell it? What's going to make people take time out of their day to come to your event? This could be anything from like maybe your hackathon's the biggest in the area, or you have a unique theme, or like you have local sponsors that no one else has. Whatever it is, make it unique and sell it. So yeah, and this should be throughout your whole strategy. This is what you should be thinking at the back of your mind. So I'm going to quickly show you. Actually, maybe I'll kind of tell you what we did, and then I'll show you the video because it kind of relates. So like I said, we're from Vancouver, Canada. Have any of you guys been to Vancouver? Okay, oh yay, okay, amazing. For those of you who don't know, essentially like we are on the coast. Our campus is surrounded, like we have beaches, we're surrounded by mountains, oceans. It's a gorgeous campus. It's very like what you would expect like Canadian, like we don't have like igloos and stuff, but like it's very stereotypical Canadian. So, okay, yeah. So our entire marketing strategy was built around one idea this year, and it was the West Coast experience. So like I said, for hackathons in our country, like our competitors are about same size, same sponsors, logistically same everything. So we were like, what sets us apart? And it's like, we realized a lot of people were coming to our event because they wanted that West Coast experience, and us being from Vancouver, we didn't realize that was just something we took for granted. Sorry, hold on. So yeah, so like I said, for those who aren't familiar with Vancouver, we're home to a very unique tech scene in a sense that it's very small, but we have some powerful headquarters. But it's not like the volume of other tech scenes. So it's a very loyal, supportive community where everyone's helping each other out to get Vancouver on the map. So it's really unique in that, and our hacker experience, and from what we've heard, when people come to Vancouver to work in the tech scene, it's very different from other ones. Yeah, so, and like I said, and we do a lot of like, I'm all over the place here. Yeah, we're very, hold on one second, okay. Yeah, I already talked about mountains and stuff. So how do we incorporate this into our marketing strategy? So all of our content was based on 3 things, which was, like I said, showcasing the Vancouver tech scene, showcasing companies that you could work for if you came to Vancouver, kind of what the tech environment would be like working for us, like what internships would be like, what job opportunities are available for university students. We also featured a lot of previous hacker testimonials from out-of-town people. So coming in, talking about why it was worth it traveling to Vancouver, what they got that was different from other hackathons they'd been to, things like that. Again, really focusing, not just being like, I had a great time, hackathons are fun, being like, I'm so glad I went to that hackathon in Vancouver because it provided me that valuable experience in my career or whatever they were doing. Things like that. Yeah, and one thing, it's not really West Coast related. The last thing we kind of focused on our strategy was just kind of to bring back fun moments from our previous years. Like I said, we've had a lot of dumb stuff happen at our events, a lot of fun stuff, but reminding people that if they come, like that, they had fun that one time, come back. We're hoping to guarantee that. So those were kind of our 3 pillars for that. So I'm going to show you quickly. This is our recap video. Does that kind of work? Where's the song? so that's NW. Thank you. We're very excited about it, but yeah. So like I said, that's our recap video. What you'll notice from there, which we worked really hard with the content, it was like right off the bat, that moose thing. That was also probably the dumbest thing we've ever done at NW Hacks, but like I saw that in Staples and I was like, that's West Coast Canadian. Like it doesn't get any more stereotypical than that. Another thing is like you'll see like that owl going around. That's one of our, it's called Hootsuite. It's a big tech company in Vancouver. I don't know if you've heard of it, but like showcasing like the unique sponsors we bring to the table. I know, I'll talk about, but like Red Bull was a big thing for us. Things like our venue, like we're really proud of our venue, and that's a UBC thing as well. So showcasing that as much as we can because it's a gorgeous space. So really focusing on content that is unique. Like you watch that video and you're like, I know that was NW Hacks. I know that was in Vancouver. Well, hopefully, but yeah. So that was kind of the goal of, like I said, every time we're creating content, we're keeping those things in mind. Yeah. Okay. So, oh, that is. Hold on. Let's go to this. Okay, we're back on track. Yeah, so what is the best way to reach your hackers? So second question I want to ask is, how are you reaching them? Is this through Slack at your event? Is it like newsletters? What are you doing? So what I want to recommend, okay. So this is something. So when we were doing, I think the first 4 years of our hackathon, we were doing everything from newsletters. We were keeping our Slack channels alive. We had 3 social media accounts for each page, plus an event, plus a group for attendees, plus like you can see anything that's not highlighted in blue. That's what I was managing when I came into this space. So that's like 12 pages, which is not fun. I'm sure. I don't know who's worked in social media. That's not what you want. And it's confusing, and you don't know where your audience is. And essentially, we had a large network, but it was spread across so many different platforms. It just, at the end of the day, there wasn't one place that we could go and direct a lot of them. They were just split up between everything. So one thing we did, and this was, so this is it took a lot of convincing of my team to allow me to do them. But essentially, I restarted, because like I said, we rebranded to NW+. And we just restarted all of our pages and we put them all into one. So like I said, all of our events, we do all of our marketing for all 3 of our events under NW+. It's all in one account. Everything we do goes through there. So we have that hacker audience. So like I said, with NW Hacks, we spend the whole year getting all of our hackers, potential hackers, current hackers, on that channel, and then we announce our next event. Well, instead of starting a new one and trying to find them all again, they're already right there. We start posting in there, things like that. And then for Facebook, like we have the NW+ Facebook and the 3 events, which Facebook events, you can't do one for each. But yeah, so essentially at the end of the day, I'm running 5 pages or 5 accounts versus 13. We actually eliminated newsletters as well, just because we found that year after year, people were unsubscribing to our newsletters, but on our social media channels, they were staying. So that's another thing we looked at, was when we're going back to ask for hackers, for people, mentors, volunteers, things like that, where's our previous audience? We realized that they had left us already because it was so easy for them to. Where in this case, having them on our social media channels, we're able to keep them engaged and keep them wanting to stay connected with us and reminding them like throughout the year, just kind of giving them little things that make it worth previous hackers to stay on it. So yeah, this is kind of our breakdown. Another thing too, like I said, when we were, like for instance, like when we announced NW Hacks 2019, originally we would be posting it on like 6 different accounts, things like that. You're tracking it, people are messaging you questions, and there's a lot of engagement, but it's split up between maybe 4 or 5 platforms. So if you put it, like if you do one post on your Facebook, you announce the event, you do that, everyone's attention is drawing to there. When you have all those eyes looking at that post right away, with algorithms nowadays, I'm sure you've heard all about social media algorithms, that's gonna go up, that's gonna reach so many more people, all your attention's gonna be on there. Like instead of having the same question on all these posts on like different platforms, you have it on that one. It starts a discussion. It is, I wish I had the stats. Honestly, our reach stats and our engagement stats, making it down to one post versus like doing 3 or 4, were phenomenal. Like our reach was just, I mean, it makes sense. Like I said, you've all heard about Instagram and I can't even say the word, algorithms and things like that, where they're trying to promote popular content. It's the same thing, where if you have one thing over 4, it's going to be pushed. So I promise you, go back. If your thing looks like this, go back and convince someone to let you do that. It's risky and it sucks, but it's worth it. Not risky, it just sucks. But yeah, it sucks like the first month. That was the wrong word, but yeah. Okay. So, third thing, what is the goal of your strategy? As I mentioned, marketing for hackathons is important for different reasons, but you should have one ultimate goal. And as I mentioned, one thing for us was to build a strong online presence and quickly and accurately portray our event to potential sponsors, hackers, and stakeholders. So like I said, when we send an email and we're like, hey, like we're at NW Hacks, we're reaching out for this and this, here are our channels, Google us. When you Google NW Hacks, there's like everything we did in the past year is online. It's us, it is consistent, it is a snapshot. They can look through it however they want. It can be as easy as if they just want to open up our Instagram page and look at it, be like, done, they're doing things great. It's essentially just, it eliminates so much of us being like, oh, we're a hackathon, this is what we do, this is what we can promise you. We promise that it's actually happening. We now have proof online that they can just look through it, they can do it on their own time, they can follow us, like sponsors, they can follow us on social media, keep updated when things are happening. So that was our main strategy goal. Yeah. And like I said, too, oh yeah, you know, I already talked about that, we're fine, we'll move on. Okay, so also, quickly, just when should you be starting your marketing? So are you guys only marketing during application season? No, good. Okay, you guys know what you're doing. I know that. But anyways, so here's a really just kind of quick calendar of what our year looks like. Like I said, we have 3 events. NW Hacks, Local Hack Day, Command F. We also have the application seasons. One thing we did this year, which, like I said, we had very high attendance rates, or higher than we thought, was kind of doing a first push and a second push. Because one thing we were doing was during application season, we have a long application season, and we were just marketing it for that whole 6 weeks, being like, you should come, this is gonna be great, blah, blah, all this stuff. And then as soon as applications came in, just dropping the marketing and just hoping that people showed up. What we realized is we need to do a second push, which you'll see in January. So our event's at the end of January. So as soon as we get back into school, we are now going back in being like, okay, hey, here's like our top 5 moments over the past years. Here's 10 reasons why you should come. This year was our 5th iteration. So it's like, what can you expect from the 5 years? Oh, you've done the first 4 years. You don't want to come back for the 5th year. We promise it's going to be worth it. So doing that second push, reminding people that the event is still worth going to, because at this point it's free. They can back out, nothing to lose. Like I said, it helped us a lot with attendance rates. We had 3. We did it for all 3 events. Yeah, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, they told me this, for all 3 events, we are 55 to 60%. I don't know. We're above what we should be, apparently, for attendance rates this year, which we found out. Anita's like, never mind. It works. To sum up. Really quickly, this is kind of, if you guys have questions about this, getting a good content calendar in place. This is just a really quick snapshot of what we do. We use Notion, which, go to Anita's lightning talk on documentation. It's amazing. But having a calendar set up like this that you can do in a couple weeks in advance and assign certain people to it, see who's working on things, just know what's coming up and being able to label things if you have multiple events. This is just kind of what we use. Okay. Getting a lot of ums here. Yeah. So that's kind of, sorry, I know we powered through that. That was a lot of information, but like I said, that just kind of summed up what we did for the year, and I just kind of wanted to give by example, like, this is what we did. Hopefully you guys get ideas from it. Like, it kind of gives you an idea of either where to start your plan, things like that. Just a couple things to make your marketing life easier. These are things that it took us years to kind of get into place. We're still getting into place, but these are ideas. Like I said, plan ahead, use a strong content calendar. If you have a team of more coordinators, like making sure, like dividing it up, assigning it, making sure everyone knows what they're doing. A content bank, which I'll show you in a minute. Another quick thing for our event, dividing up our platform, so giving one person Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Before it was always for consistency, we were like, okay, I'm gonna do overlook it all, send it out. having everyone do their ownership, you get very unique content on it, and like hopefully your organizer should have a good idea of the event that it will remain consistent. Big thing, a lot of people will say that they don't have access to this. Having a designated photographer or videographer, most of your schools should have some sort of like photography, like some sort of photography club or whatever that offers free video and photo services. Having someone that's not on your team, like non-organizer, to take photos at every single minute of the day, because what we were finding is when like closing ceremonies, that's going to be our most chaotic point. We like a week later we pull up our videos and photos, we have nothing from closing ceremonies, because we would have organizers who were like volunteer photographers throughout the year, or sorry, throughout the event, and they would just disappear to help out with other things. That's a huge thing. Use your team, make them like your stuff, comment on your stuff. We have a Slack channel that every time a post goes out, I post it in there. If you're not liking it, I will come after you, things like that. Minimize social media platforms. Also plan fun events for your hackathon to create good content. Like I said, that moose thing, the whole idea was to get good videos from it. It was fun. But so things like that. As I mentioned, we actually added 3 new marketing rules this year. We're lucky that we have a big team. We were able to do this, but it was essentially a content writer, an outreach coordinator, and an engagement team. I want to quickly talk about the content writer, because this is something you can do really easily, and it saved us so much. So essentially, our content writer was hired. The biggest thing was to do Medium articles throughout the year. Like I said, like we're doing all this fun stuff, documenting it, doing long form content. So like doing like little recap posts. As the event went on, she was doing all this. The minute the event ended, we sent it out. We have all our numbers, we have like stats, we have everything you could possibly need to know about the event. Do I have the content? Maybe I don't have the content bank in here. I had a content bank as well. The content bank, this is what I wish I had a photo of it. But essentially what we did for each event is we had, like I said, we had a writer who came in and she did like, so for NW+, it was a 1-line thing of what NW+ looked like. And then she wrote like a paragraph, and then she wrote like a long form description of the event, because I'm sure you've had so many people being like, oh, like so-and-so reached out to me and would like to learn about the event. I don't know what to tell them. Can you now write this up for me and tell them more about it? With a content bank, you literally be like, okay, just go in, find whatever form works for you. I'll pull that up later. And just copy and paste it. For instance, like email outreach. Like we wrote email templates, like very specific. So all this pre-written content, because it's the same thing over and over again. Having that bank where your members can just go in, copy and paste, it's well written, it's consistent with your theme, you know it's accurate. Huge lifesaver. Communication packages, I know you guys do this. We gave them graphics, we gave them exactly what you want to say. Again, maintaining that consistency. Things like that. Yeah, okay. So I quickly wanted to, sorry, that was really fast, it went through really fast. I kind of want to open the floor for discussion. What's the best way to do this? Does anyone have any questions? Let's start with that. Yes, hi.
Hey, so I saw you had 3 social media accounts, primarily Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Yeah.
I was wondering how you know what to post on like the different accounts. So.
Yeah, so that's actually, so yeah, what we decided with that, for a lot of you, this is actually, in the marketing world, this is a really debated thing, I don't know why. Some people are very adamant on having unique content for all 3 platforms. Some people, to keep it easy, will kind of do one platform and share it across. What we decided was, Instagram, like I said, for those vanity metrics, Instagram was our main thing. So Instagram was sharing like the experience, sharing that content, using it, occasional announcements. Facebook was used more for informative stuff. So like I said, that Facebook event, like deadlines, information sessions, things like that, the more, because we know that like for people who don't want to use Instagram but want those updates, they're going to be on Facebook and they know that. Twitter actually, just because the way our team worked, we weren't super heavy on Twitter throughout the year, but we knew that was something, I assume it's the same across all boards. Hackers are very, very active on Twitter during your event. So that is something that we wanted to maintain for the event, because during the event it would be our biggest thing. So you can do something like, for instance, if Facebook is like your main focal point of your communication strategy, you can just pick every like second photo or the important photos and put it onto Instagram and Twitter, things like that. You can do it in a sense that like it is completely different content. Like I said, I would do Facebook a little more informative. Something we've done in the past, which we stepped back from, is when we were a different club, we were kind of the hub for UBC tech. So like sharing a lot of sponsor events, sharing a lot of other tech events, things like that. So that's how I'd recommend it, but kind of, it's okay to do the same strategy across all three though. Some people will tell you no, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, did that answer your?
I just have one more follow-up
Yeah.
question. I saw Facebook Messenger on there. What do you use that for?
Facebook, we just get a lot of questions through that. So actually, at the end of the, well, sorry, I keep looking at Anita as if she's doing this presentation. I would say a lot of our questions come in through Facebook now. We still get a good amount of emails, but the thing with Facebook that's really awesome is, for instance, I'm doing the marketing, I don't know a lot about logistics, I'm looking at the Facebook messages. If I see something that I don't know the question to, so for instance, a lot of people message us being like, when does the bus from UW, or like, where am I meeting at? I don't know that. I can assign Anita or the logistics team to that, and they see it right away. Everyone's getting that notification. We kind of worked out a system where if it was something you can answer, it was the logistics thing, you kind of swooped in and got it. With Facebook events, it's really easy to give access to a lot of your team. So that's just kind of our preferred communication method. And also that's where hackers prefer to contact us. So yeah. Yes, and then go for it, yeah.
Yeah, so you mentioned that your Instagram has like 1,000 followers. So how did you build the initial following, like maybe the first 100 or so, until you got the momentum to start getting it?
Ooh, actually, thank you for bringing that up because I forgot to mention that. So like I said, we, other than our Twitter, we completely restarted our Facebook page and our Instagram account. We started from square one. And for both of those pages, like I said, we had an existing audience on other things, we had to transfer them over. So one thing we did right at the beginning of the year when we did our rebranding, we did like a quick and easy like social media giveaway. It was something like we did like a Google Home, and it was literally like, if you follow us on Instagram, we'll enter you for a chance to win. If you follow us on all three, you get 3 chances. It's that easy. So that really helped us start gaining momentum. Like it got kind of that 200-300. Also too, you'll be surprised, like for instance, like our NW Hacks page, like we posted and we're like, hey, we're shutting this page down, move on to NW Plus. Keep in mind, NW Hacks 2019 is coming out soon. If you want to know about that, you better be on this page. And most of your hackers will go over to there. Like I said, I would say we did lose a good amount of our older hackers, but even like, because I've been around for years, over the year, like as the event goes on, people are sharing photos, you kind of get them back. The interested ones, like you'll see them like your page like in 8 or 9 months. But to some of your question, giveaways are a great way to kind of get them on board. And something like you can, like a Google Home, it's like $40 now. That's worth the amount of engagement. And that works because it's like, or not works, but you're gonna get real hackers who do want to be on there. And that's how we found that was the best way to get like authentic followers and stuff. So yeah, and then it just kind of goes from there. And also too, I don't think we did it, but we were gonna do one during the event as well. So like when you go in, when your event starts, and be like, hey, you should all be on our social media channels. If you tag us, we'll enter you for a giveaway. We actually had a Twitter wall at our event too. So every time you tagged us or tweeted us or used our hashtag, you went up on the wall. Everyone loves their 15 seconds of fame. So things like that. And also just featuring, being like, if you engage with us, we'd love to give you shout outs, things like that. Yeah. In the back, yeah.
How do you deal with like attracting traffic from people who you don't really have direct interaction with, so people maybe like outside of your university or like in the area? Do you utilize like the paid promotions on social media?
We actually didn't do paid promotions this year, but in terms of that, so we kind of found, because like I said, we are pretty well known in Vancouver and we did want to expand out. That was definitely something we were working on. We're lucky, like I said, we're a big team. We've been to Hackcons over the years. What we just kind of started doing, and honestly, some of you might have got messages from me, just doing a lot of cross promotion with other hackathons. So even things like, honestly for NW Hacks, we don't offer as many travel reimbursements as we'd like to. So for instance, when we do cross promotions with a lot of the universities on the East Coast, we're not expecting a lot of them to apply, but just by getting getting them to post for us, it's putting our event in their minds. So maybe in a couple of years when we are able to offer more travel reimbursements, they've already been thinking about NW Hacks for a while, things like that. So just kind of working with other hackathons, like this is a great space to meet people, add people on Facebook, know what hackathon they're going for, and it's as easy as like sending a message and being like, hey, if you, like I said, we have the communication package, hey, do you mind posting this? It's no work for them. We're glad to post about you anytime you need any help, things like that. Also something we are starting this year, which I think we're pretty excited about, is a campus ambassador program. So and we're starting with local schools in Vancouver, where it's really hard for us to get access to other schools' Facebook groups and social media accounts. So getting an ambassador who's in that class or school, and again, sending them a communication package. Be like, hey, this month you just have to post this. The information's there, and kind of rewarding them. We're thinking maybe doing like an exclusive shirt or something like that. But honestly, just working with other hackathons, that is the best way to kind of get out there. Yeah. Other questions? Yes. Yeah, you. So by update, like posts? Me personally, I've worked in marketing for years. I've always preferred to just do it manually because I'm aware of it. And like, you know, because like, I don't know if any of you guys have worked in marketing where you schedule it through like Hootsuite or whatever, and an hour later you look at it and you're like, well, that's not how I thought I wanted it to go. I will say without getting too much into this, Instagram has updated in the past couple months. You are now able to schedule through the app. I have not used it, but that could be an option. But I was doing it just for quality control, and I don't know if I can pull it up. But essentially when we had, am I allowed to pull up the Notion page on here? You won't? Let's see if it loads. I'll show you really quickly, like kind of, oh, perfect. So things like, so we would have this planned out right away. So this would always be done. Oh, this is a bad example. Okay, these are, hold on one second. Here, we'll do these. So we would kind of schedule all our posts like this. So it's like we've got the photo, we've got the caption, I've highlighted anything we're gonna tag. So essentially, if you're okay with doing it manually, like you should just go in, copy and paste it into the thing, boom. Feel free to use an automatic scheduler. At this point, I haven't used the Instagram one, but I think Facebook scheduling is that's the only one I would auto schedule with. But yeah, it's really a preference thing. Yeah. Yeah. Other questions? Yes.
Communications during the event. So like saying like, oh, activities are starting at this time, like, or workshop is doing.
So, okay, so for that, in terms of announcements and communications, things like that, we used to do, Twitter was the main, or social media was our main platform. We have now switched to Slack. We just find that we have like an announcements page, it's just easier. We will do kind of main announcements on our social media, but not as many as we were before, and focusing our social media more on just like sharing content, like retweeting people, more just like engagement stuff, posting what's going on. But in terms of announcements, it was just more efficient to do it in the Slack channel. It was just more clean. You could literally pull up an announcements channel, it has all that. But I mean, social media could work for that.
How have you found like the engagement on Slack? Because generally, like, not everyone's on Slack.
Do we have a talk about this, about our Slack contest? We don't at Hackcon, do we? We should. We actually do Slack contests. And this is something we started 2 years ago, and they are, like we're all smiling. They're so much fun. They're so successful, like, kind of blew our minds how well it worked. But essentially just, like, what did we do? We did, and no, I'm not even bothered with that. Actually, something we had talked about with social media is doing things like, so we would do things like go find a sponsor and take a selfie with one of them, send it to us, and then we'd like, first person to do that would get a prize, things like that. We were trying to make it more social media heavy where it's like, tweet us. If you use our hashtag, first person to like use our hashtag will get a prize. So like I said, just throughout the day, do we have it in its own channel? Or was it, okay, yeah, so just being like, check Slack regularly because every once in a while there's a giveaway where literally if you're the first person to see it, and it's like things like super easy questions like, what university are we at? If you're the first person to see it, answer it, you get free stuff. So that has helped huge with our engagement on Slack. I would say during the event, that is where all of our hackers are checking. And we, like I said, we have 800-900 hackers. Like I would say a very large percentage of them are active on there. Like we have very high success rate with contacting our hackers through that. So if that works for you, I would suggest stay on Slack. It's worked for us. Yeah, does that answer your question? Yeah. Anything else? Yes.
Have you tried to deal with people who aren't on social media and like that purposely aren't on social media, like especially nowadays? And like, is it even a priority?
Sorry, say the last part again.
Is it even a priority for you?
It is, well, honestly, I would say the people who aren't on social media, most likely already know about the event. There's going to be a very small percentage of people who aren't on social media, who we can't reach, who don't know of our event in Vancouver. Just also, when I say that, we are like literally the only hackathon in Vancouver, so it's not like we're amazing or anything. It's just one of the few. And normally, like, we have a lot of our hackers who I know aren't on our social media platforms. They have social media, but around like fall, they know when our application seasons are, they'll do a quick NW Hacks 2019 search. And they can see, like, even if you don't have Facebook, our Facebook event's gonna show up. So things like that, we're just kind of banking on, if they don't have social media and they're not active on it, they are checking at least once a year to see, just kind of like, hey, I went to that event that one time, or I heard about that, I wonder where they're at. If that is would this Slack count as social media? I was gonna say in Vancouver we have like a lot of Vancouver tech Slack channels. I feel like a lot of people who are in those wouldn't be on social media. Those would be a good thing to kind of tap into, but it's tricky. Nowadays it's tricky, yeah. Yeah, any other questions? Oh, hi. Yeah. Yeah, and the reason I did, how did I do this before? Page display. Show, hide. Full screen mode, it's right there. Can you see that? Oh, Lord, okay. Essentially, if you Google me, you can find me. I'm like the only one. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, like feel free to add me on Facebook, shoot me a message. I'm pretty easy to find on Instagram. Even, how do I zoom out? Go look at our pages, NW plus UBC, for everything, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, things like that. Again, if you Google, I'll still find it. If you're looking for me specifically, I'm not managing the pages anymore, but if you shoot a message, just be like, hey, can you put me in contact with Lauren? I will always respond. It won't be the fastest, but feel free to always reach out and ask me questions. I've been doing marketing for hackathons for years. We've seen what's gone wrong. We've seen what's worked. Like I said, it's very unique to have one person who's seen it go over 4 years, so I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you might think of. Even if it's as easy as like, if you have a strategy, if you go home today, again, I gotta figure out a way to get these slides to you. We'll figure that out. I don't know. Anyways, even if it's as easy as like, say you like do a plan and you just want to shoot me a message, be like, hey, would you mind looking over this? What would you recommend? What would you recommend we take out? Things like that. I'd be more than happy to do that. Yeah, I encourage you to connect with me. Can you see that now? I don't know. I'm horrible at this. Okay. Or just come find me. Yeah, anything else? I guess wrapping up. Yes. Sorry, what? Eighth what? Oh, eat, yes. Sorry. Yes, thank you.